This is Hazardous Opinions, and I'm here with Hunter and Andy. And today we are going to be talking about some cool practical effects that were used in various movies, which is a lot. So we're just going to list off some movies that we've got and researched on how they work and stuff. Like one of my favorite movies that had really cool practical effects and looked really expensive to make was Inception, made in 2010. Christopher Nolan, particularly the hotel scene where it was all like zero gravity and all that. He actually made a whole set that was like a rotating set.
Yep.
Put like vertical, and the actors were able to like run around in like around that tube fighting each other the whole time with like no straps or anything after practicing for so many times. I think for the zero gravity things they were strapped, but like for the most part they were just like in a rotating set.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty cool. Christopher Nolan does various things like this like a lot, and I wouldn't never thought of that. I always thought it would be CGI.
He loves his practical effects, like explosions and everything like that.
Yeah.
That's that hotel scene, especially like with Joseph Gordon-Levitt just running around kicking some dudes' asses. Like he just seemed like an action star, and it was just so seamless. That was amazing and impressive. Yeah, and I love watching those videos of the revolving, tube going.
Yeah, I think they actually built two of them, because one was for the hallway and one was for the hotel room. And they actually had to like sync it up like two different ways. Like one was spinning slower than the other because the hallway was narrower, so they had to spin a little bit faster. But also then the hotel room was bigger, so they had to spin it a bit slower. So they had to sync it up in a certain way to where when they went into went to the different room, it would seem like the same thing, but it actually wasn't. But
right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Very intricate.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah, spinning sets are a few of my my picks for my list, and Nolan is definitely one of the kings of putting practical effects in his movies, and I can't imagine choreographing fighting in general, much less doing it while you're suspended in a rotating set like that.
Yeah, it's mad difficult.
Oh my God. Yeah,
So
I can't imagine.
The actors for practicing that for so long, and yeah, it's like, yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Did you find, Eric, did you find how expensive it was to do those revolving sets?
I didn't see how expensive it was, but yeah, I seen like, like the bare bones of how it was built.
And immediately when you did suggest this topic, Eric, that scene in Inception came up right away for me. I'm like, okay, I got to write that down. So of course that was on my list, and I figured that would be one of the ones all three of us shared. So
Yep.
I'm happy that I was right about that, and that you guys really enjoyed it too.
Yeah. What's yours, Hunter?
So I kind of cheated on my first one that I came up with, and I would say Guillermo del Toro, anything. Just how he does practical makeup and makes his creatures for all of his movies, like especially, what comes to mind, like Shape of Water, like you mentioned, Andy, not too long ago in one of our episodes. Just amazing how he made the, sea creature, like kind of reminds you of Creature from the Black Lagoon and all those, and also the fish man. I always forget his name in Hellboy.
Hellboy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of my like favorite characters that I've seen ever. But yeah, like, speaking of Hellboy, just all the makeup on, Hellboy on Ron Perlman, and yeah, the fish man.
Abe.
Abe, there we go. Gosh, I knew it was like a older name, but and also Pan's Labyrinth, of course, all those creatures that he came up with. That dude with the eyeballs in his hands. Like, I don't know how Guillermo comes up with these things. It's just so amazing what he does with makeup, and it really feels like those creatures are real and viable, and that's impressive to me. Very impressive art. And recently, Cabinet of Curiosities that I checked out, all of
There's
all
a
of
lot of
his,
that.
oh my goodness, like that huge rat monster in the
Yeah.
graveyard. Holy shit, that scared me. But yeah, just everything he comes up with, it's just nuts. And I love how he brings the creatures to life, and and he insists on continuing that art form. So I really got to, take my hat off for that towards him.
Yeah, we gotta do some Del Toro movies on here.
I
Or
know.
do Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yes. And I'm a huge fan of his Pinocchio movie as well. And just the stop motion animation. I'm so glad he did that too and brought his artistic style to stop motion.
Yep.
Love stop motion movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you seen the new Pinocchio, right?
Yeah. That's
By him?
that's what I was talking about. Sorry.
That's what
Yeah.
you're referring to? Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Or did I mess up and not say Pinocchio?
No, you did.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you did. I am just yeah. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I know you're researching because I asked the question like how expensive that Inception scene was. So don't
Well,
worry
I
about
wasn't
it.
even looking at that anymore. I was looking at the fish man.
Oh, Abe. Yeah, God.
Yeah.
He's just so impressive.
And yeah, that is very impressive. Yeah. Did he have any like moving parts on him at all? Or
Abe,
He had,
didn't
he had
his
gills.
gills? Yeah, his
Yeah.
gills kind of
his
pulsating and
gills
stuff.
moved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
in
always find it
Shape of Water as well.
Yes.
yeah, I always find it interesting that they also like they have a costume, but they also have things that move on the costume.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
where are you fitting like, like technology inside this suit,
Right.
Yeah.
And like the eyeballs in that monster's hands in Pan's Labyrinth, and also the the creature that comes to the girl as well. Uh the creature, I'll look it up real quick just so I get his name.
Yeah. I think Abe and Hellboy is actually makeup. I don't think it's a suit for most of his stuff.
Makeup.
Yeah. I think they just it's like Mystique, like they skin paint you.
I'm sure for some of it. I think most of it is a suit though.
I'm sure like some prosthetics and
Yeah.
stuff, and mixed with makeup. Oh, is his name Fano? He kind of looks like a goat with those huge horns, and he's got those like spirals on his forehead and stuff. He looked pretty creepy, and I never trusted him throughout that whole movie, and I was right to. But yeah, no,
I haven't
he's
seen
also
it.
impressive. You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay.
Ones I really need to get to because I know David Bowie's really loved in the movie world, so I know that I got to get to those.
Yes. Yeah, you got to check it out. And that is a Spanish film, so yeah, a lot of
Pan's Labyrinth
subtitles.
is?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep.
That is the one with David Bowie, right? No, that's Labyrinth. Just
No, oh, sorry. I was kind of confused when you brought up David Bowie. But yeah, that's Labyrinth. But I can see where you got the two mixed up though.
okay. One extra word there.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay, Andy. I'll forgive you on that one. But yeah, that's my cheat, Guillermo del Toro and his, costuming, makeup, all of that. I love.
Yeah,
What you got, Andy?
Del Toro's good. I had Shape of Water on my list to talk about just because I was really impressed with the fish man suit. So
Yeah, yeah, you can't help it. But and I kind of figured that would be on your list, so I'm glad I took that away from you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I'll get this one out of the way because you guys know what's coming. The Thing, of course.
Of
Um,
course.
The Thing.
both the 82 and the 2011 version. Though, unfortunately, with the 2011 version, they made this weird choice. Like, they did all these like really cool animatronics
hmm
and practical monster effects, and then they coded everything with CGI in post.
They
So
really fucked up.
it doesn't look good in the
Oh,
movie.
Yeah, they really fucked up on that.
But yeah, the original Thing, the 1982, is obviously the king of practical effects when it comes to movies. There's a couple others I'll talk about for horror, but yeah, almost everything in that movie is done practically, and even the chest burster scene where the doc is going to put the paddles on his chest and it
yeah.
hmm
opens up. They get
Oh
a
my
double
god.
amputee to be the body double for that, so that
Oh,
like they
What?
had prosthetic arms and those arms got ripped off in there. So like, there's so much cool shit in the Thing that just I'm amazed the work they put into that one.
That's
yeah,
wild.
it's super impressive. Like just the things they thought about to make it work like that, like getting the double amputee.
Yeah.
And uh, whenever I do think of the practical effects in the Thing, I always, obviously, because it scarred me, because I hate that they did this to the dogs. But the dog scene in the kennel and just those kind of tubular vein type things shooting out from the dog. I'm like, holy crap. And oh my God. And just even the dog tearing down the gate too, that counts as practical as well. And
Yeah.
just, yeah, very interesting. And that fucking spider head, that makes me laugh.
The spider head, bro. I
Yeah.
always wondered like how they do like the springly, spindly like tentacles, because like
Yeah,
I wonder if they just like wiggle them and then like speed it up or something,
right, right.
because it doesn't look like animatronics, but also
No,
it doesn't look like it's hung up by anything. I
it
guess it
creeps
I
me
could
out.
be.
I
Yeah.
can't remember if those are stop motion or if it's like a fan or something that
It,
that blows it around.
maybe a fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
I'd have
get
to look
you.
Yeah, I
into
guess
that
it
one
could
again.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but everything they do in that movie is just impressive, and the sets being like all built so that they can pretty much destroy everything. There's no worries about breaking things in shots, and yeah,
And just set everything on fire.
yes,
Yep.
just burn it all down by the end.
I love that they didn't use any digital fire. Like it looked
Yeah,
so real, and it really added to the whole Arctic aspect about the movie, and feeling cold the entire time, and you get that little burst of warmth.
that was
Yep.
one of the things I seen in some of the behind the scenes content as well as with the real fire. It made some real issues for the prosthetics. 'Cause they're like, well, shit. Now you like burned up all this stuff. Like if the take wasn't right.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Man, you fucked up the take. We only had
yeah.
one of those.
You had one job.
Or yeah, there's something about like it being so hot that it would like melt some stuff, and yeah, it's cool to see that they just go all in.
Yeah,
And
gonna have to.
I'm also thinking about the scene where they do bring in that body for the first time of the
Yeah.
creature, and just how they must have smeared some like gel to make it look like it's kind of like oozing, kind of like on the xenomorph where they used that. Didn't they use like KY jelly on the
Yeah,
xenomorphs or
yep,
something like that? I,
they
like I
did.
I don't know. Like it kind of reminded me of that, and I thought that was super impressive. It actually seemed like an alien was sitting on their table.
Yeah. They just
Yeah,
put gallons of lube on top of them.
Lube them up.
yeah. There is a lot of lube and practical effects.
Yes, yeah. I mean, hey, work with what you got, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
that and the corn syrup blood, of course.
Yes, yeah. I always think of the scene in Scream where Billy Loomis licks his fingers and he says, "Hmm, corn syrup, same thing they used for pig's blood in Carrie."
Oh
God
my
damn
god.
it, dude! It just lives in my head. Like that whole movie does. So I can like I can just follow along with each line, honestly.
Yeah, I could go back and forth with the thing for hours, as you guys know. But yeah, I recommend for anyone who does like that movie, like the behind the scenes stuff is just as interesting as the movie itself. Like it's so cool to see. I just obsessed with watching it.
Oh, I bet it's different than, a whole movie that's made out of CGI and kind of following the behind the scenes of that. I'm sure this is just interesting and so intricate.
Yeah, it's
Not that
like
digital stuff isn't, but you know what I'm saying.
yeah, like not that it's not cool to see Chris Evans running around on a green screen and they're just jumping over green boxes, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, there's just something naturally like cool when you could say like, yeah, I made that fucked up thing like by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I suppose we did do a whole thing about the thing, a whole episode about it. So yeah, like, I mean, we could go on and on, but
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they had a really small practical effects department. I think it was only like one or two guys for the thing.
They
I
really
believe it.
outdid themselves then. Like that's a lot of work
Dang.
for two people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
impressive.
yeah, I remember it being a very small group.
Wow.
I'd feel very proud, honestly.
Yeah,
Like that you didn't need a
that's
whole
impressive.
team of 10 people doing it, and
Yeah.
how much they had to do for this movie.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I might be mixing it up with another one, but a lot of these, like, there's a lot of '70s and '80s movies on our list for obvious reasons, just because you didn't really have as much CGI practicality at that point. But yeah, a lot of really small teams of very skilled people. So shout out to all the practical effects artists, of course.
Definitely, for sure. Eric, what do you got?
I got Jurassic Park, the first one.
Of course, the classic.
Damn it.
Classic, right?
That was on my list too.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Should be
I
on
loved
everyone's
looking into
list.
this with
Yeah.
the giant T-Rex scene specifically.
Mm-hmm.
They they actually built a huge one. They built a huge T-Rex made out of like clay and plaster or whatever just for like the still scenes so they can just they like this still used a fair amount of CGI obviously because like I mean you can only do so much with an animatronic, but that one scene where the T-Rex was like clamping down on that truck. You remember that? The
Yes.
SUV and it like
Yeah.
busted through the window.
Yeah.
That actually wasn't supposed to happen
Oh my God.
because the animatronics was like for the T-Rex was like hydraulic fueled and so with the rain that they had going on it, it got wet and waterlogged. So it had like some issues while they were filming it. And it actually wasn't supposed to happen, go through the fence. So those were actually like real screams coming from the kids because
Oh shit.
that T-Rex was not supposed to bust through the truck like that. So yeah, I mean it was a good shot. They actually kept it in post. But
Yeah, it worked.
it
It worked
worked,
out.
but
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that you can't really get with anything else.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Like if it was just a CGI rendering instead of, the actual thing clamping down, that
Yeah,
wouldn't have happened. They
yeah,
would have had to use
and
something else to kind of like crush it.
yeah, absolutely. And the lot of engineering going on with that animatronic because it had to move like so fast, like at the tip of it to make it actually look like an actual animal.
Yeah, like
So
actual movement.
yeah, the engineering team had to get cut out for them because they had to make the hydraulics go like what 60 gallons per minute
Yeah.
pushing hydraulics. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it was quite a technical feat that T-Rex was.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just so impressive that they, were able to bring dinosaurs back to life, in a sense. It was really cool just, because it's not something we've seen in our lives. And we're like watching it on the screen, like, holy shit, that's a dinosaur,
Yeah.
like just so impressive. And I loved the raptors growing up,
Oh
even though
yes.
even though they kind of did go off from the actual design of a velociraptor. Apparently they had feathers,
Yeah,
but
I heard that too.
yeah, that wouldn't have looked as cool. So I like, in my mind, whenever I thought of a raptor, it was Jurassic Park, and what an
Yep.
amazing thing that is, and just a huge impression on the populace, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, just insane. And look how many things kind of spurred off from Jurassic Park and having those animatronic, dinosaurs, all these shows that you go to, like in arenas and stuff, they have their own hydraulic dinosaurs and stuff and
Yep.
machines. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I remember seeing an animatronic T-Rex one time. I think it was in Deadwood, South Dakota. For some reason they had a T-Rex there that screamed at people, and I thought it was the coolest thing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Little 8-year-old me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wonderment.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like Jurassic Park was definitely it's a word I can't think of right
It's a
now.
cornerstone.
Cornerstone. There you go. Of
There.
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
And
Andy's in your head as well, Eric.
yeah, thankfully I wouldn't be able to come up with anything.
It's a morning.
Yeah.
It's a morning, guys.
It is. Yeah.
It's just practical effects too. Like, it's amazing how many, like, going through different articles and research for this one, like, I don't know if there's one list that didn't include stuff like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Oh, yeah.
insane how fundamental some of these movies are to the future of all movies.
Definitely. Yeah, Steven Spielberg, just an amazing dude. We can thank him for so many things, and
Yeah.
just, giving us that childhood wonderment, with like E.T. and especially Jurassic Park. It's just awesome.
Yeah. I still would like to one day see his idea for the horror version of this. Because I know they
Oh my.
considered it, but they're like, well, we don't want to, alienate half the audience. So,
Right.
What?
but
Yeah, I suppose.
It
you
does
do
get
get some
kind of,
scenes, like the
yeah,
raptor scene in the kitchen.
it's a little
Yeah.
horror-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of actually scary, and and some of the people getting eaten, that
Yeah.
counts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, the lawyer in the bathroom there. One of
Yeah.
my favorite scenes.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah, I always think of the raptor, and the shot is on the side of its head, and there's all those computer projected onto its face, like with all the digits.
Mm-hmm.
That was an impressive scene as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Jurassic Park does a fantastic job of bringing a prehistoric being to life in movies. I always remember the scene where they're checking out the Tyrannosaurus, the
Triceratops.
Yeah,
Yep.
who's sick out in the field, and like the breathing and stuff, and then just like the piles of shit, like just makes it feel like, oh, this is
That's
like
an
a
actual
mythical
dinosaur.
creature. This is an animal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like can actually just reach out and touch it, and if you
Yeah.
wanted to touch the shit, but
Yeah.
And like in no small part due to of course, like Sam Neill and Laura Dern's performances in like reacting to all that, like just really sells it.
I'm sure some of those reactions were just like, wow, this is crazy that these were built,
Yeah.
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 And then of course you get the realistic reactions, like Eric mentioned, of the glass breaking on the Jeep.
Wasn't
Yeah.
planned, but it really worked. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
did. Yep.
Sometimes those are the best
We
moments
wanted
in
fear
movies.
and we got fear.
Yes. Genuine fear. I'm sure those kids were scarred from that.
Yeah. Thought they were gonna get crushed on
Poor
set.
kid.
Yep.
Well, this is it.
Yep.
So I, of course, had to put the sinking of the Titanic and just all of the sets that James Cameron was able to build in the Titanic film. And just just crazy how he was able to come up with a way to make it sink and break in half and everything. I mean, it's it isn't total practical effects. They did have to use a little bit of CGI work with it, but I
I
mean, for
hope
what they
so.
were, yes, for what they were able to do though, and in order to recreate the Titanic and like the different rooms and the parts of it and its sinking, Cameron and his crew like had to use a combination of models, CGI, and other practical effects. So just mixing all of those and making it work, just very interesting. And they were able to look at the blueprints provided by the original Titanic builders, and that really helped them in their process.
Yeah,
So
it's amazing that you could use miniatures to really trick the mind in such a way that you could save so much money on your special effects.
Right?
yeah, yeah, I know Star Wars did a lot of that too for the outward shots for I mean, because it's all sci-fi anyways, there's not actual places that they can film. So they have like miniature like built places of like Mos Eisley
Yeah,
Mhm.
Star Wars. I was just about to
or
say.
Hoth or whatever. You know what I mean? Those big battles are pretty much just like a bunch of miniatures.
Yeah, they did do stuff out in the desert out in Arizona. I actually got to go see some of the area where some of that was filmed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the sand dunes of Tatooine. It's
Oh,
really
that's
cool.
Oh,
amazing.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And also, like, when the people were falling off the ship, they also had to use motion capture technology for that. So, hey, thank God that wasn't practical. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Just, and like you said, Andy, they did have to use a little bit of illusionary um, movements and camera work to make it look like it's really tilting and everything like that. And Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, how much, God, how would you say that? How many gallons of water that had to like flood the set too for, the water with Jack and Rose, like
Oh,
kind of
yep.
walking through the water, like just insane. I,
Oh,
I would have been scared I would have drowned in there, honestly, but
they didn't just like go out to a lake or something.
no, no. Yeah, they like actually filled it with water. And
That's
Wow.
crazy.
that's why they had to remove some sections of the ship and be able to have the tank of water sit in there too for that scene and just like
Wow.
let it out, let it
Wow.
flood. Yeah, just insane. James Cameron loves his water.
That's not
So
what I would have expected for
they
that.
Yeah.
must have had like rebuilt the studio for some like really excellent plumbing, I'm sure, right? They put
Yeah.
some plumbing installed, like drains and stuff. I hope so. Unless it
No
I
was
suppose
like
if
above
kidding.
ground.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. That's pretty cool. Yeah, dude on the first floor, of course.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah. No kidding. But yeah, just very impressive. It's like, wow, I'm actually watching the reenactment of what happened to the Titanic, what we weren't able to see. Just crazy.
Honestly, yeah, that's really cool. I didn't think that they would use like a miniature like Titanic to film it sinking and stuff. I thought that was like all like green screen stuff. So that's really impressive.
Yeah, definitely. And of course it was the most expensive movie ever made at the time.
Yeah,
And I can
that's true.
imagine why. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, and they actually drowned DiCaprio on that scene, right?
yep.
Rest in
Wait,
peace.
what?
Yes.
It was his last movie.
Yep.
Yeah,
He left us way too soon.
They
he
really wanted to
filmed
make
all
it
the ones
real.
after that. Like before that, like for some reason they had they had all
It's been a
the
body double this whole time, guys. Yeah,
I
Yeah, he was
I
a
Leo is
knew it.
gone. Yeah.
They,
I
they
knew
want to
it.
make it real for Winslet to really act.
Yes, yeah. They're like, "Do you want to watch your friend drown?" Actually, yeah.
Sign me up.
Even before you have to let him go in the freezing ocean, yeah, scarred twice.
Nope.
And I
No
love
animals
how
were harmed. No people were
no,
harmed.
Only Leo. Only Leo.
Only Leo
That
is
makes it
harmed.
okay, right? Yeah. I love how Leo and Kate Winslet had a huge like friendship after that movie too. They're like still best friends, and it's sweet to me, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so early in your career. I feel like everyone you probably start with there, you're like, cool, let's continue to hang out. And
Yeah,
you put so much time into those projects, so you probably get to know each other really well.
definitely. Like, you know, how much of a process this movie was. I'm sure they were filming for a long time. And how James Cameron is, I've heard he's a little difficult to work with at times and puts his people through some shit. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure that was trauma bonding a little bit too.
Well, did you have you seen some of the behind the scenes for Avatar 2 here? The Way of the Water?
Yes,
Talking about like
yes.
being obsessed with water.
Yeah.
Like actually having to learn how to hold their breath for like a long time for
Yeah,
some of
Kate
those
Winslet
scenes.
had a record for holding
Yeah.
her breath. Yeah.
Damn.
Is that also Winslet in that movie?
Yes. Yeah. Works with him again. You got it. Yeah, I'm sure she was used to his process. And
She's like,
yeah,
I keep having to break my records, keep having to hold my breath longer.
I know it's crazy, and just yeah, like being able to see him make new technology to do this stuff. Like some of this technology wasn't available, so he had to basically create it, and now that helps further improvements on movies. You know, it's just very
Yeah.
cool, and I can respect him for that.
To go colonize a whole planet for this.
Yeah, yeah, colonization. Mm-hmm.
Avatar 3 in 2025.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see more behind the scenes stuff. It's just yeah, it's just crazy how he figured out how to put, you know, these like styrofoam I think they're made out of styrofoam. I could be wrong, but like all those balls kind of floating in the water, so it
Oh,
helps
Mhm.
them
yeah.
record the people moving and stuff. Yeah.
And trying to make a mocap suit that you can actually use underwater. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, just insane. But yeah, what else do you got, Andy?
Well, I of course have to throw up another pick from James Cameron and go with
Ooh,
Alien slash Aliens, even though really did the first one and Cameron did the sequel.
right.
They're both fantastic, and they both use pretty similar animatronics from what I've seen for
Hmm.
Xenomorph. Especially like, I think you see the Queen a little bit in the second one.
The
I
end of the
think
first one for
so.
It's
sure.
the end of the first
I
one.
remember
Yeah,
that.
And I thought I remembered seeing her in Aliens too.
yeah. And
No,
I need to
actually, the
rewatch
second one. You're
those.
right.
Okay.
They're really good. Because yeah, the second one's where she kicks it out with the big machine thing.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
kind of forget what their naming conventions because it's like it's Alien and then it's Aliens,
Yep.
which
And
is
then
the
Yeah.
you got
second one, and it's
Alien Cubed.
yeah, it gets a little confusing.
Yes.
Alien Cubed, and then Alien Resurrection. And then you got all the prequel nonsense. It's just all over the place.
Hey, now I actually enjoy some of that prequels nonsense.
I enjoy them. I enjoy them.
Okay. Okay. Good.
They're jumping around on the timeline weirdly.
I know. I know. And then it's kind of hard to keep up and kind of like put it all together in your head. It's like, oh no, like
Yeah.
this came after, but it was a prequel. You
Yeah.
know.
So I'm like, wait, Prometheus came out first, but that's the
Yes.
oldest one, and there's Alien Covenant, which was before Aliens, but after Prometheus.
Right. Yeah, they had to throw a spanner in the works and name it Prometheus too. Like
Yeah.
it
And
didn't
then
even
there's
have the word alien in it.
there's supposed to be a project incoming about in between Prometheus and Covenant, because they're like, okay, what happened to David? How'd that get there? And
Yep.
like then of course one between Covenant and Aliens, or Alien.
Let's go. I'm ready for more.
And
I
you got
am.
Alien Isolation, great game, and it fills
Oh,
some gaps as well.
yes.
Just slowly filling a puzzle.
Yeah. The xenomorphs are so impressive though. I
Yeah,
totally agree. This was on my list as well.
like this is like insane levels of like dedication, like Rexy in Jurassic Park, like to put all this work into this monster, and you're like, I hope this pays off. Like I hope this movie does well, because if it doesn't, you just put so much time into this monster.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and then seeing them like put that together in the frame, and of course all the like KY jelly, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
It's
what amount
very
of
cool.
KY jelly do you think they use for this shit? Like gallons? I
Gallons.
don't
Probably a
know.
pallet load.
KY
Yeah.
made a lot of money off of these people.
Yes. Like,
Yep.
thank God somebody needs a shit ton of lube.
Right? We can finally sell these bulk items.
They've been sitting in the back forever.
And then you get like I think you actually have someone in the xenomorph suit, and then there's practical stuff around him.
I think you're
Really?
right. Yep, I think you're right.
It's just impressive. It's
That's cool.
very cool to see, and a little silly behind the scenes. You're like, that's a guy in a suit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this looks
Like,
off.
When you're actually watching the movie, like this is one of the scariest horror monsters of its time, and
Yeah.
still lives up to being one of the top today.
It's
Yeah.
movie magic, man.
Like
And
really
the
impressive.
super predator that like bleeds acid. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, right. And the xenomorph, like just the concept of the look of it, I wouldn't have thought to make an alien look like that. You know, when you think of like the alien design at Space Aliens, you kind of think of just that, like,
Yeah.
so simple, you know.
The gray
But
man.
Yeah.
yes,
And then it's really cool to see the adaptation that they've taken in the future here with like Covenant and Prometheus to say like, okay, now what was the evolution to even get to that point?
right, yeah, and it's actually interesting to me. That's why I really enjoy Prometheus and Covenant.
Yeah. Yeah, from like a biological perspective, it's really cool to be like, oh, okay, it's that thing is that's mama. That's how you get that weird fucked up neomorph or whatever it was.
Yeah,
And then eventually you get this thing. And you get
yeah.
chest bursters, which is also the chest bursters are fucking amazing practical effects.
Oh my God. Yeah, it just lives in your head. It lives in everybody's head. Just that scene alone, and that it was made with practical effects is just that much better.
Yeah, it pays off. It looks good. I still like them today.
Yep.
So I'm due for a marathon of these again. And
Yeah.
they're perfect.
Really hurts my chest watching it every time, every fucking time. And then sometimes randomly the Spaceballs scene will pop in my head where the restaurant serves like bad food to the guy, and that's why the chest burster comes out. And he starts like singing and dancing with a top hat. Hello, my lady. Hello, or something.
I love that one.
That was amazing.
Yeah, I love that even like you can get some failed scenes like you talked about in Jurassic Park that just work.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the chest burster, like it didn't go as planned, and some of those scenes are kind of still in there, and it works.
Yeah.
That like even though things don't go fully as planned, you're like, oh wait, that actually looks better than if we'd planned this out meticulously.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, aliens will always go down as one of the best monsters of all time, and amazing practical effects from their team.
Yeah, for the time it was made, that just amazing. Yeah. Agreed. What you got, Eric?
So we're going down the James Cameron route today.
Okay. Yeah.
We got Terminator 2.
Hey. Okay.
Specifically the nuke scene.
Mm-hmm.
Where they actually had the actual miniature, city where they blew it up. It was actually just used with fire, and then they blew it down with a really like intense fan. Not to ruin it for you, I mean, that's pretty much all it was. And then the animatronics that they used for, the melting of the what's her face,
Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor, yeah, and that was also really impressive.
You ruined it for me, by the way, Eric.
I know.
I just
I
had
know.
to say. I just
It
had to
wasn't
say.
a real nuke.
Trying to, not ruin the magic of it actually being a nuke, but yeah, you can't really do that. I have to
That's
pull
just so
back
much
the curtain.
cooler. Like, why did you have to do that?
I know. Yeah.
Just let me be, oblivious. Okay.
Yeah.
They actually used a nuke town.
Oh
Actually,
my
the most
God.
expensive movie ever made.
Yeah. Acquiring a nuke. Yeah.
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 Cameron
Man,
was
Yeah, they had
banned.
to get government permits for this.
the
Yeah.
budget. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
Could you imagine? That'd be nuts.
Oh my goodness. No.
Filming that? I didn't want to be on that crew.
Yeah. I do love the Terminator design too. That's
Yeah.
what I love about it for sure. It's very iconic.
Yeah. They actually built a lot of Terminators for that. And they're reused. So like there's where that first scene where they had like the huge battle and lasers going all over the place, things are blowing up.
Oh
That was
yeah, in the
pretty much
future.
like a life size like replica. So they kind of like they reused a lot of the scenes there, but they also had like probably two animatronics and the rest was like green screen behind it. So it actually looked like some huge battle. It was that it was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the one of the scenes I think of when I think of like, oh, you put this much work into this project for it to be like less than a minute of content.
Yeah.
Like just crazy what like you go through for some of these projects.
Definitely. Yeah. Just and having to make it believable as a futuristic type story at the time too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just like we were talking about with Alien as well.
Yeah. Obviously it pays off and people keep giving Cameron money to keep doing this, so it's working.
They just
Yeah.
keep handing him the bills and like, hey, here you go fuck around with it.
It's like
What
you
do we
spent
what do we care?
how much on miniature teams? for how long of a scene?
James, was this in the budget? No, I just made it happen. All right, okay.
Yep.
We'll just keep rolling.
It's like just trust me. Just trust me.
Yeah, I
And
got
It'll
this,
work.
guys.
I
Yeah,
because
promise.
Terminator was only like his second movie, like the first one for
yeah,
directing at least, and yeah, it's insane that just one of those directors that like it's really paid off that they've put their faith in him to make more.
definitely. Just yeah, we'll give you the key to the city. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's insane. Dang.
I got another one if you guys want.
Oh, I'd like to. Yeah, and I do have more as well.
Yeah, something a little different. So I guess so. Lord of the Rings. You know the hobbits. Guess
Yeah.
what? They're not actually that
Habits.
small.
No, you're
Yeah.
joking.
Tell
No,
me
like
Elijah Wood isn't 3 foot.
yeah, no, I thought the same thing too. But turns out they used forced perspective. And what's interesting about this one compared to other movies they use forced perspective? Well, I guess movies before this, I should say other movies. They actually were able to get the like moving camera while also using forced perspective, which is hard to do because obviously when you have a forced perspective, you have to stay in that perspective to keep the magic alive, right? But they
hmm
used certain props and optical illusions with the set. Like some things would be smaller and other things would be bigger, specifically like in the scene where Gandalf was in Bilbo's house. Like there was a lot of forced perspective there, obviously because they wanted to make him look huge and him small. That was all just like props being made smaller and bigger than usual.
That's
So ones
amazing.
that are like closer to whatever hobbit there is, they'd make the props bigger, and then whatever be closer to Gandalf to be smaller than usual. So I just thought that was really impressive and really creative that they were able to do that.
You just blew my mind, Eric.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's really cool.
No, yeah, I do love that, and I've seen a couple movies with that forced perspective. It's really interesting. Like the first one that comes to mind is Elf, where they had to
Yep.
make Buddy look so big, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's actually an aspect that I do forget about Lord of the Rings because I'll be honest, I have not rewatched them since I was a kid because I had an irrational fear of Gollum and Smeagol, and he
Fair.
would
It's
murder
not
me.
irrational.
He would murder me in every one of my nightmares. That's how my nightmare would end. Like when I would finally stop dreaming, he was about to kill me. So,
Sounds
therefore,
horrifying.
have not watched them in a long time. But that's the aspect that I do forget about it, is that they made the hobbits look so small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Not listening. Not listening. You're a liar. And a thief. No.
I can't believe we haven't talked about Mad Max yet in the war rigs.
Yeah. Are you talking about Fury Road?
Fury Road. You got
Hell
it.
yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Oh man,
One of the probably newest ones that we'll talk about, right?
yeah. Because most of ours have been kind of, besides my like Guillermo del Toro stuff, like they've been kind of in like the 90s and around that area. So that's interesting. But yeah, just Mad Max, and the action is just so believable because they did use a bunch of practical effects.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like all of that driving is just insane. That you got real stunt people for all that, and
Yes.
it pays off.
People jumping around on those freaking rods and stuff and like swinging around. Tom Hardy being strapped to the front of a fucking vehicle. Like,
Wait, no, they were actually driving vehicles?
Yeah,
Yes,
all the driving
yes.
is real. Yep.
Yes, all of it's real.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And the flames just coming out everywhere. Like, it wasn't digital flames or anything, which was very impressive. And just the explosions. It just blows your mind. You're so captured the whole movie because they put this amount of work into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually didn't expect that, because usually in like 90% of the movies, even when they're just driving around, they just have a car on set, and everything else outside the car is green screen. So like you got all this, they're
Yeah.
actually driving and jumping all over the place. That's nuts.
Yeah.
I might
a really
be, yeah.
good majority of the movie is like actually filmed.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's crazy. And actually, Eric, now that you bring that up, the moving scenes outside of a vehicle when actors are driving in a movie, that I might
Some
be
of them are,
super picky, but it makes me cringe sometimes when I
Yeah.
can really tell that it's just green screen or whatever on the outside. It looks so
Yeah.
bad sometimes. Yeah.
I can't stand
Yeah.
that. I know like stuff like 2.5 Men, and did I notice it in, or like
Oh
all
my
sitcoms,
god.
Theory.
Yeah, sitcoms.
Like,
so bad.
they're not meant to be like high tech or anything, but like it's just so
No.
funny. Like you're looking at the back, you're like, huh, are you actually driving there, Ross? I don't think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
like it barely looks like they're driving, like they're just exaggeratedly like moving the steering wheel all over the place. Like they're just going all over the road.
They're looking at the passenger the whole time. They're not even
Yeah.
looking. And they're
You'd
supposed
be
to be like
swerving.
New York. Yeah.
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 Most movies don't, like, it's not like that obvious, but like
No.
yeah, TV shows especially, yeah, they
You
make
guys
it pretty
really thought you
obvious.
could fool us, right? Yeah.
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 Or you just didn't put that much time and energy into this, or I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe it wasn't
I
in the
mean,
budget. I can't, blame people.
it must not be, but like,
No.
you watch the sitcoms for the jokes anyways. It's not, you're not really looking to see anything cool.
Yeah, the artistic value in it.
Yeah, the
like,
artistic value. Yeah.
Yeah. Just make me laugh. That's all I ask.
Yeah, it's just jokes.
But yeah, Mad Max Fury Road, like what a joyride, actually, just because of, all the technological stuff that they did for it. It's just insane.
All right. And with
Yeah,
less
that's
of a
really
budget
cool.
than Titanic.
Yes, yeah. I could imagine.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like 50 million less.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. What George Miller does in Mad Max is nothing short of just like jaw dropping. And it pays off really well in the action. So I'm hoping the next Mad Max is just as good, at least in that aspect.
Yeah, definitely. I'm ready for that Furiosa movie with Anya Taylor-Joy,
Furiosa.
and hopefully the effects look better than they did in the trailer, because it looked a bit too much CGI. So I'm kind of concerned, but I mean, it is kind of a first look, and I'm sure they can kind of clean that up.
Yep.
But yeah.
But I trust the director. He's done all the Mad Max stuff, so he's He
Right.
knows the content.
He does. Gotta just trust, right?
Yeah.
What do you have next for us, Andy?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump back to an old one again, of course.
Okay, why are you keeping with the old, man?
Because I like the
out,
80s,
out
man.
with the old, in with the new.
It's just
No, I'm just
it's so classic, and this is just one of my favorite movie series of all time. Mr. Harrison Ford in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
indeed.
Back
Yep.
in 81, not only we got like the real boulder scene at the beginning of the movie with Harrison Ford running away from that, though I think it's
Mhm.
made of like, it's not styrofoam, but it's a different type of light material like that.
I
And
hope
then
it
you
wasn't actually rock.
Non-murderous material.
Yeah.
yeah, he's actually running away from that and having to run through that thing. And then you get
Yeah.
the face melting scene at the end. I always forget these are both
Oh,
in the same
yeah.
movie. With
Yes.
spoilers, but this is 50 years old now at this point.
Yeah.
Where he opens the ark and the Nazi guy's face just fucking peels off.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just impressive for a movie of its age.
Steven Spielberg again too.
Yeah, Spielberg, Cameron, and Nolan are kind of dominating the list.
Yeah. Yeah. No, just very impressive. And it's so fun too because like at Disney they do reenactments of like this Indiana Jones show, and I remember going to it as a kid and like after seeing the movies, and I'm just like, wow, like it's just so cool that you can actually just set this up on a stage as well
Yeah,
and like actually see it happen, and just all the practicalities of it. It's just awesome. It makes you feel more like it's an adventure. I love when adventure movies like really do these cool stunts that are practical, and like the boulder, like you said, the hazardous things that they're going through and they're exploring and trying to get some sort of treasure or whatever. It's just it really adds to the adventure.
yeah, and this is obviously a little bit older and less grand than Mad Max, but like for the car chase scenes,
Mm-hmm.
like I always feel like very intense watching those. I always just really liked him with Indy and his special way of combat. Like it's very 80s, but like I
It
don't know,
is.
I love all the car chase scenes in the
Yeah.
Indiana Jones series.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Big action hero stunts.
Yeah, Harrison Ford is the action hero.
Oh yeah, he's a treasure for sure. God, and just I'm so glad that Indy as a character, Indiana Jones, can kind of be separated from Han Solo, two huge characters in pop culture for people around that time, and
Yeah,
still to this day. But I don't really mix them up at all, honestly.
I never really mixed them up too much.
Yeah.
They're completely different. I mean, like Han Solo, like he's like a sly, charismatic dude, and
Indy's more
Indiana
smart.
Jones is like a smart
smart,
professor,
Yeah.
action hero dude. So they're
Yeah.
completely different. You can't really mix them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You also
You
got
wouldn't.
Blade Runner.
Oh my
which
gosh.
is-
being
he's-
Decker. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
he's more of like a grizzled detective dude, I guess.
Very true.
Hunt down the androids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy is jumped into some of the biggest series of all times.
Oh yeah, he's iconic. He's all over the place, and it's just awesome. He deserves it. Yeah, no, good pick there.
I do have a couple others. So, I mean, we got Chucky.
Oh,
That's also an interesting one. They actually had to use like 9 puppeteers and then like 3 different versions of Chucky for him to come to life. But like,
really?
yeah, Chucky's just real. He's a real doll, and he's running around on set. And
He
it's
was
actually
also-
like pretty impressive.
He was also in one of my nightmares as a child, and
Me
I
too.
woke up
I
right
was
before I
scared.
died.
Yeah, I was scared as hell of Chucky. Like,
He killed my dad first, man.
Wow,
And he came
what?
to kill me. Yeah, right in front of my eyes. So
Oh,
I
man.
can't forgive him for that.
It's
That's lore
dirty.
accurate. He would do
I
that.
know.
Yeah,
God, yeah, it was horrible.
kills the parents first. And then you got the Batman series by the trilogy.
Nolan's.
Yeah, Nolan's trilogy. And
Okay.
yeah, I just think it's cool that they built an actual Batmobile for it.
Yeah,
And yeah, they built the Batcave too. That was all real.
I believe that. Yeah.
So like you see the bare bones of this Batcave, like before it's all painted real nice and stuff, where you just see like cardboard and like water everywhere and stuff. Like they built the whole river into it. Pretty
Oh, wow.
impressive. Very
Yeah.
expensive too.
I believe it. Christopher Nolan also loves to do it up big like James Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very impressive stuff, especially like, the semi scene in The Dark Knight and it
Yeah.
flipping over, just crazy.
Yeah. It's all nuts. They have to have a Batmobile scene in each movie for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I
I mean,
agree.
spent so much to build it, might as well use it.
Yeah, for sure. Andy, I know you love the Dark Knight trilogy, so you got anything on it?
It's impressive, of course. Like they do a lot of their own pyrotechnics and stuff. Of course, everyone knows about like the Joker hospital scene, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's impressive the work that they put into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Nolan, yeah, I don't know what more you could say about Nolan. He's just one of those directors that just does it right.
He's so highly covered too. Like I don't think we would have any really new thoughts on him. He's just been covered all over.
Yeah. You got any other big ones, Hunter?
I do. I kind of have a thing with practical
The Thing?
effects. The thing about the thing. But so I like when I mentioned Guillermo del Toro and all these costuming and like creature designs, I'm really into that. So like a lot of like the makeup stuff of practical effects. I kind of have a pattern in my list here, but especially with the horror genre, I love when there's no digitized blood. I hate that. I notice it, you know. I like when they use like really good looking like realistic blood. So Evil Dead 2013.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love this movie and wow, like all the practical stuff they did for the gore, like
so much blood.
just so much, so especially at the end when it's raining blood.
Yeah.
Which is very impressive too how they did that. But like just the limbs getting chopped off and stuff, like the self-mutilation that the possessed people do, like it's just how do you make it look that real?
Yeah, like the what always gives me nightmares is the nail gun scene.
Oh
Yeah.
He's backing away and getting them, and I'm like, oh, that's just like worse than just getting your limb chopped off to me.
dude,
I don't know.
yeah, a lot of this stuff makes you like really cringe and just like grit your teeth, and it just really adds to it that you can tell it's not like a bunch of CGI
Yeah,
and stuff. So it's just very impressive to me. So I love when horror movies do that.
yeah,
And
it's intense, and it's one of those things that brings you closer to reality because we do have a lot of blood in us,
yeah,
and sometimes movies really sell it short. Not that I need like a gore fest, but
no,
if you got shot there, you'd be bleeding a lot more.
yes, I'm trying not to sound like a psychopath, guys. I
Yeah.
like this is art. I don't actually love watching people die and get mutilated. I'm just saying like, yeah, these are movies and they're supposed to show you things that you don't see in everyday life, and I know it's fake. It's so like it's kind of just a different psychology with that for me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm just like I'm watching somebody perform for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things like trying to describe why you like horror movies. Like, yeah, I like to be scared, but it's not really about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I don't always feel fear in my life, so I do have to find a different source for it to kind of, get that adrenaline pumping, and it's
Yeah.
fun, I think, and I think I deadened myself inside by watching so many horror movies. I can barely find one that scares the crap out of me anymore. So when one does, oh, I'm just like, perfect. Thank you for giving that to me.
Yeah.
And after Evil Dead 2, I just had like a couple other movies with like makeup effects in the horror genre. Krampus.
Okay.
Love the design for Krampus, and just like when you finally really see his face at the end, I'm like, holy shit. All right, this actually looks pretty freaking real. And all of his minions and creatures like that. Have you guys seen it?
Krampus, yeah.
Okay. That like accordion, like Jack in the Box thing that
Mhm.
was like long as hell and had those like sharp teeth and stuff. You can tell like that looks pretty real. So I'm sure they did some makeuping, and I don't know how they made it move. I want to know that, like kind of how it like freaking slithered around and stuff. Yeah, that creeped me out. And another movie from Michael Dougherty, the same director as Krampus, he directed Trick or Treat, one of my other favorite horror movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I checked that one out recently at your recommendation.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. And were you mad that I recommended it?
No, it was good.
Good, perfect. Yeah, and just with the practical effects there, like the werewolves, that was an awesome werewolf scene. I love when movies do werewolves right. That was really cool. When they're
Yeah.
like shedding their skin and stuff, like it feels like you're actually watching like a werewolf transform, and it's crazy. And like you're not expecting that in that movie at all. So it's just like, woo. And the design for Sam as well. God damn, that little kid fucking he
That's the
freaks
little
me out.
guy with the bag on his head.
Yes, yep. And then it's revealed that he has a pumpkin head basically. So like that design's really cool, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I also have another big horror one I'd like to talk about.
Of course.
So, of course, one of the classics, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Hey, yep. That was gonna go on my list.
This is another one going back to the rotating sets, like we talked about with Inception,
Hmm.
the blood geyser scene when,
Yes,
Yep.
Johnny Depp.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
when they're pulling him into bed and all the blood spurts out all over.
Yes.
This one was a little less techy than Nolan's
Hmm.
because they had to manually rotate this one,
Yeah.
like by hand, and
Yeah.
like it's just cool to see the behind the scenes of like them having to like fasten down every object and stuff like that, and like having a like a cameraman in there and stuff who's also like fastened down, and it's just I love that whole scene, and it's well done.
Yes, I agree. That one lives rent free in my head too. Gosh, I love Wes Craven so
Yeah,
much. I'm so glad that they like were able to figure out how to do that, because it's just a really iconic horror scene.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
then like all of Freddy's makeup and design in general, like
Iconic.
imagine having to do like every time before you're going to work, you're doing like a couple hours of makeup before you can even act.
All right, got to look all burnt up now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Probably more than a couple hours too.
yeah,
Probably
Yeah.
takes forever.
yeah. You could probably do a whole list on just like how long does it take you to get in a character. There's some out there that are insane.
Oh, like Jim Carrey becoming the Grinch.
Is that one a long
Oh
one?
man, dude.
I thought that was
Yeah.
just a suit.
No, like yeah, suit, makeup, everything. Like he had to sit in a chair for quite a long time. And you should look it up. I'm pretty sure he was going like crazy one of the days, and like he had to use this whole like Navy SEAL torture thing to like get over it, basically, to like kind of ride it out and not be so uncomfortable like he was. And yeah, I don't know the whole story, but it's just very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. There's some that yeah. I don't know how you can sit there that long for one without moving, and then You're like, okay, I did my 2 or 3 hours of shooting now. Now I take all this off for another hour or two, and then
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
go home
that's
and you do it again the next
dedication.
day.
Same thing next day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it again tomorrow.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't imagine at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got people like we were talking about Benjamin Button before, like doing all the old person makeup for Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's one that just took forever, and it pays off. It looks really well in the movie.
It does. It's very believable actually. Like I've seen some movies where a young person is in old makeup and it doesn't look too great. But yeah, that one, my boy David Fincher and his team did a
You
really good job.
or pretty much anyone in the new Guardians movies.
Oh yeah.
I think Zoe Saldana is probably one of the quicker ones. I don't know what hers consists of, but like Nebula, like Karen Gillan,
Yep.
and Dave Bautista
And
and all that. Like,
Drax. Yeah.
yeah, putting all those red spots on you all day, like, wow,
Man.
it's gonna take forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that they do that stuff though. Really, really adds to the character, you know. And you're like, oh, that is Drax, not Dave Bautista, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Do you guys got anything else?
I do.
That's about all I got.
Oh,
I have a
Andy,
few
you have
more to
more.
talk about.
Okay,
Yeah.
hey, let's go.
Not one I went too in depth with. Didn't get a chance to research this one, but Top Gun Maverick, of course, like everyone doing the real stunts, which
Oh, yep.
not really practical like effects, but just the work put into that to make everything look realistic just deserves a shout out on this type of list.
I'm ashamed I didn't put it on my list. And I like kept seeing it and I'm like, okay, Hunter, put it down on your list, you know, and like kind of dive into it. But holy
Yeah,
shit,
with
what a
like
feat.
Cruise actually having like all his pilot licenses and stuff, like just
Yeah.
insane that he can actually fly these things.
I know. And just like how fast they're actually going and being able to shoot that stuff is just crazy.
Like yeah, like it's all real scenes of them like hitting real G's, which is just crazy and just really sells the realism in this movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
and you got to
absolutely.
kind of train yourself to get used to that pressure up there, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
which is why you see like them like look like they're actually passing out in the movie.
right. Yeah, I can't imagine. I think it was Glenn Powell that did one time during shooting. I want to say somebody did pass out.
Yeah,
I can't remember though.
I think who's Payback? I think it was that had the problem with passing out, like his character did. I
Oh
think that was
yeah.
actually from the actor as well, if I remember.
Oh really?
Yeah, like
Okay.
those were all
Yeah.
like real shot scenes and stuff. And yeah, that movie is just insanely technically accurate and it's awesome.
It just makes it 1,000 times better just because they did all that like realistically, you know?
Yeah, and of course I got two horror ones to shout out briefly.
Okay.
The Fly, with Jeff Goldblum. Have you guys seen this one?
Can I tell you something, Andy? I have not. I am so sorry, and I'm ashamed at myself again.
That's okay. I actually only see this within the last year for the first time.
Okay. Yeah.
It's good. It's worth a watch, and Jeff Goldblum's actually really good in it. Normally not a
Awesome.
fan of his acting style, so he's
Really?
impressed me. So yeah, very gross monster effects that are all
Yeah.
very practically real done. So I recommend it.
Stained
then
in my
Great.
memory.
The biggest classic, of course, that I can't go without mentioning is Jaws, the real shark animatronic thing.
Oh yeah.
Bruce. He's
Yeah,
the first
amazing. I
animatronic.
know.
Yeah, we can't go without mentioning Bruce here.
Yeah.
Amazing
Came
that
before the
they
dinosaurs.
had all those sharks, and it I don't know, Jaws doesn't hold up as well for me given how many weird fish movies we've had lately, but
Yeah.
it's still just impressive what they did at the time.
I
Mhm.
haven't seen it in a long while, actually.
And another Spielberg movie, of course, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continues to just blow us away with his movie magic, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then zombie movies, of course, like Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Love all that stuff. Love all the prosthetic and blood and, all the horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zombies, you can really have fun in the makeup department with zombies, I suppose, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. God, I'm going to kick myself for not remembering, but it's only on my honorable mention, so I didn't write down the notes. It's either
Okay.
Dunkirk or 1917. One of them went really in depth. Which one had Tom Hardy?
Dunkirk did.
Dunkirk.
Yeah. I think that's the one that went
Yes.
more in depth with like actually having dogfight scenes. Like they're actually flying old planes.
Really?
Oh, okay. I believe that, actually. Yeah.
Not actually like shooting at each other, but like actually flying around and doing all that.
Well, that would be dangerous, Andy. What are you thinking?
You can do some real fire. Just don't shoot it at each other. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. hope you miss.
Don't pull an Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Oh my goodness. Thanks for bringing that up, Andy. Totally. Jeez. You just made this podcast very dark. Damn.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
That's a very good note to end on. Thanks.
Okay, well, I'll bring it back around to something cheery. So
Okay,
I
thanks.
talked about in the previous pod A Trip to the Moon from 1902.
Right.
This is, of course, probably one of the original practical effects movies, you'd say. And being 100 plus years ago, it's really cool to see what kind of things they pull off. Like the suits are really well done in the movie, for what you can tell with the hand painted scenes, and then like the cannon actually going off actually looks pretty good. Good little short about practical effects. That's nice. It's like 17 minutes.
Is it
Yeah.
this seems to be a lot of like shorter movies around that time. Like when movies first started, were they only like 15 minutes?
This was actually longer for the time,
That's longer than usual, huh?
and there's like 2 minutes of credits. So yeah, it's like 15 minutes ish.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of like the first movies around that time and before it were only like maybe a minute or two long. They were like commercial length.
Wow. So
They're
like
just
when
quick
people went
shorts.
to the theater, did they just go in there, pop in, watch a short flick, and then leave?
Maybe it's back to back stuff. I don't know. I suppose it was a different experience. So you
Yeah.
drive up, you're like, okay, this is a 30-minute process as compared to like nowadays where it's like 3 hours.
Yeah,
Right.
now
Well, like
we can sit in the theater, sit on our asses for 4 hours.
yeah,
then we
right.
then we
Movies
get to
are
leave.
just getting longer and longer.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, it's gonna be like an all-day thing.
And hey, I am perfectly okay with it.
That would be cool.
I'm good with it. Yeah. I mean, I know some other people might have problems with it, but I'm good with it.
Yeah. Or like Ben-Hur, where they just have intermissions, let people go back to the concessions, grab some, food, drink, take a break, and then come back and continue watching.
Yep.
Like those
Yes.
plays,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, the like Broadway shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. This one's a Kubrick movie.
Wow, Andy, you really did dive into this. It's amazing. I love it. I love it though.
I'm not sure if I like this movie that much, but I'm very impressed at what they did for the time. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
Bit of an older movie back in like 68, which is cool to see a movie like this before we even went to the moon.
Yeah.
Kind of visualizing what spaceships would be like and what space would be like in general. They do really good with this, and they do rotating sets in this one, and some other different cool practical effects to make everything feel real, like a lot of measures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Recommended again for those who want to research film, but I don't know if as a movie if it holds up as much nowadays.
I have not
Space
seen it,
Odyssey?
and I don't
Yeah.
really have a desire to either.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Yeah.
It's a technical feat for sure because like imagine like it's 1968 and this movie comes out. Like this movie is like surprisingly HD for it being 1968. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's very technically impressive, but I think that's where it left me.
Yeah. That's about it. That's the
just
only
it.
thing
Yeah.
good about it.
Right.
But yeah, they did actually do a lot of research for that one too, and actually like spoke to NASA people like Interstellar did. Like I think Interstellar, they worked with Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think it was.
I believe that. I think I did read that. Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah,
Good
another
picks, Andy.
Nolan movie. Like that bookcase scene from Interstellar is all practical when they're
yeah.
floating around in the void.
Oh, that's insane. Even though I don't love the movie, that is impressive to me.
Mm-hmm.
I must have a problem with space, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know.
I think you
I
just
mean,
do.
You just want to stay on Earth.
I guess, which is kind of fucking boring, but
Yeah,
like
it's lame
I'm
as hell,
interested
man.
in. I mean,
Let's go to the moon.
No, I'm staying here.
No, let's go to the moon. We're going to the moon.
Let's go. All right. Well, like I do watch stuff like Star Wars, Rick and Morty, like quite a few things that are involved with space, and I do like a couple alien things. Like I love Predator, Alien, of course. But
Yeah.
for some reasons, sometimes with these like space dramas, I guess is what I'm kind of getting at. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what I have a little bit of a pushback with.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean because like sometimes these sci-fi movies like they're just sci-fi. You know what I mean? There's nothing like cool about them other than them being sci-fi. Like it's not really impressive in any other aspect.
Right. And I do love quite a few episodes of Love, Death, and Robots that take place in space too. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, love those. Like, Beyond the Killer Reef,
Reef,
I
yeah.
think. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's amazing, and that's all in space. And yeah, I just don't know, guys. I have a problem. I can admit it.
We'll work that out of you. We'll get you into some space.
Yeah,
Okay, guys.
We'll get there.
I'm putting my love of movies in your guys' hands, so please don't fuck it up. All right. I trust you.
But yeah, we're actually doing a year picks next for our next February movie here.
Yes. The Rental.
Yeah.
You know it. Made by Dave Franco, James Franco's younger brother.
Yeah. Directorial debut. So I think this is our first directorial debut that we'll cover here.
Yeah. And we're kicking it off right, I think. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I don't know how you guys feel, but
yeah. Excited to get into it though.
Yeah.
Also with our boy Jeremy Allen White. So
yeah.
Love to discuss it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you guys got recommendations for us, what you want to see in the month of love or any other movies that you'd like to see us cover or topics, always hit us up at hazardousopinionspod at Gmail or on Instagram. And then join our Discord in the chat. We got movie channels, and you can just bullshit with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy, did you just call it the month of love? I just had to point that out.
February is the month of love, right?
Yep.
Do you know what else it is? Okay, no, I'm not a self-important asshole, so I'm not even gonna say it. It's my birthday in February.
Oh,
yeah.
On the edge, you almost got bumped into the.
It's a month of Love and Hunter.
To the void of
Love and Hunter. Thanks, Eric, for making it worse.
Yeah, no, it's.
You almost got stuck in a limbo of having a birthday every 4 years.
Oh, dude, yeah. I wasn't too close to the leap year, thankfully. I was born at noon on the 28th, so yeah. So
you're safe.
Yeah, I'm good there. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah.
It was really fun to discuss this with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and message us what practical effects do we miss? Because I'm sure there's some really good ones we didn't cover.
Oh, there's going to be plenty
out there.
Yes.
I was just thinking of Godzilla.
Yeah, like the original Godzillas.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Really good. But yeah, that is all for now. So we'll see ya.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.